Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. We're the Road to Glory podcast. I'm Juliet.
And I'm Cecilia, and today we are here to be wrapping up the F2 Monza weekend, and there's a lot to talk about, so buckle up, be ready for a yap session, basically.
Definitely. Specifically, very good weekend for my personal drivers that I support. And just a good weekend overall with lots of interesting things happening. So, yeah, sit down, relax, and get ready to recap what happened at Monza.
Yes, obviously we're not going to be able to cover everything because we will be here for actual hours.
Yeah.
But we'll do our best to cover the big moments. And also, we just want to make you aware that this is pre-recorded. So if some big driver news has been announced when this comes out and we don't mention it, that is why.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for a future episode.
Follow us on our socials because whenever anything big happens there, immediately it'll be posted. Twitter, Instagram are probably your best places to go for immediate news. So follow us over there. It should be linked somewhere. And then you can keep up to date with everything going on.
Should we get into what happened in Monza in F2?
Yeah, I definitely think we can dive into the weekend. We had our one practice session, which it had a couple of things. Arvid got noted for not following the race director's orders. Luckily, he just got a warning for that because when you don't follow the race director's orders and you join the track where you're not necessarily allowed to, it can sometimes lead to a penalty. But luckily for him, it was practice and he just got a warning. And there was a red flag for Joshua Dirksen right at the end, which brought the session to a close a little bit early, about 3 minutes early, which obviously not great for Joshua to start his weekend like that.
No, definitely not the way you would want to start the weekend. But again, obviously it's just practice, so not the biggest consequences, which was good for him. But also talking about a good session, someone who didn't have a good session was surprisingly Invicta, who is obviously both the team's championship leaders and also drivers championship leader right now. So seeing them being right at the bottom was very confusing and slightly concerning as well.
Yeah, very strange, especially that Leo comes into the weekend. Home race for him, he is Italian, leading the championship, which must have felt really great for him. As a rookie, coming in, leading the championship, coming to the race where you won the championship last year. So, he knows that track. But then they just had not a great practice session.
No, but I guess not much else happened in practice because then we can go on to qualifying. A lot of stuff happened.
If we're on the topic of home race, then we can talk about Gabriele Mini, who he's Italian, Prema home race as well, and he has an issue with the car and caused a red flag. The car just stopped on him, but he did hold on to the lap time that he had set before then, because in F2 and F3, if you are the sole cause of a red flag, you yourself as the driver, you usually get your lap time deleted. But because it was a car fault, he didn't get his lap time deleted, which was good. I mean, it still was not the best qualifying, but at least he got that one lap there.
Yeah, it would have been actual disaster if his only lap time had been deleted. But I was it's nice to see that the race stewards and the FIA actually can make rules that make sense. Because if he had gotten that time deleted because of the car failure, that would have been insane. So
yeah, because it's literally not his fault.
No, exactly. And also, as it happened, I literally texted you who cursed Mini? I need to talk to them because this can't keep happening. So much bad luck in his rookie season. It has been insane.
All I'm saying is if he had the OG Prema livery, this wouldn't be happening to him. So
yeah. Honestly, Prema, take note. And also Alpine, obviously, it's mostly Alpine who decide, obviously, because he's part of their academy. So maybe you should just, put it on the back wing, put it somewhere, your branding, and then let it be Prema colors, because I'm sure it would cleanse things.
Exactly.
Remove the bad luck.
Yeah.
But obviously, it was just such a messy session because it wasn't only Minnie who had an issue and had to stop. We
No.
also, shortly after, when we got running again, had. Oh, well, did we even get running? Wasn't it like on the way into the pits during the red
Yeah.
flag that, yeah, the Gian Shields car? Alf was just like, you know what? I'll also just stop working now. Like, call it a day.
Yeah, it was really not great for him. And then we also had Leo Fornaroli, who had an issue with his, I think his
Yes.
gears. Something was not working for him. He couldn't change. He stopped, called it yellow, and then a red flag.
Yeah.
And it's just was really not a good weekend for the Italians that are racing in F2.
No, like on qualifying day, on the Friday, the universe was just like, no, we are not letting you have a good day here on your home track. At least things did turn out better in the races.
Yeah. I I have a note, like in my notes, that says, "Who cursed the Italians?"
Yeah, because actually we need to know, and it
Yeah.
has to be stopped.
It does. I hate the home race curse lives on forever, honestly. And like
It
I hate the
genuinely
home race
does.
curse.
It needs to be stopped somehow. We need to make a whole ceremony removing
Yeah.
the home race curse for everyone. Everyone would thank us, I'm sure. But also, like, the only good thing, I wouldn't say good thing, the only funny thing about Fornaroli having a car issue during qualifying is how poetic is it that it was the same corner he won the F3 championship in the year before? Like, what are the odds?
That was crazy and
Yeah.
so very poetic in a bad and a
Mm,
good way. You know what I mean?
yes.
Um, but the universe said, no, you have to, this year you have to stop here. You're not continuing.
No, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. That's what,
Yeah,
like, the universe needed balance,
exactly.
honestly. But also, like, at the moment when we saw Fornaroli being out of the session, we did question if this could have a big impact on the championship, because obviously he's the championship leader right now. Luckily for him, that wasn't, like, the end of the issues and red flags, because obviously we had another championship contender, Richard for sure, very much trying to set a good lap. Honestly, he was on a great lap,
He was.
but then he crashed and caused the final red flag, which then obviously meant not that many people could improve their time. So Von Rode was safe inside the top 10.
Yes, exactly. I think it was just before they went out for their final flying laps, which is what Richard did.
Yeah. Mm.
We actually had a reduced session by 6 minutes
Yes.
because obviously F2 has to fit in between Formula One, and the sessions can't be too close together. But because of the red flags we had before that, the session had to be reduced. So it was like, okay, now we have to go for this lap. So Richard was really pushing for his final flying lap, and he was one of the people in front. So no one else behind him got to set his lap, which really helped Fornaroli.
Yeah, who it didn't help was Richard himself, because as we just mentioned, there's this new rule in F2 and F3, which means if you are the cause of a red flag, your best lap time gets deleted. So obviously, it wasn't the end of the world, because it's not like he just has no time, but it did drop him back to P14, which is not a place you want to be, especially not around Monza, where
Yeah.
things can get very chaotic into turn one when you are right in the middle of things.
Exactly. But I kind of think that is qualifying over like what happened, but we can mention that Luke got pole position, which is his
Yes.
first pole in Formula 2, which was so great to see. He is my championship prediction and
Yes.
one of my favorite drivers. So it's like a double win for me.
Yeah.
We had Kushmini in P2, which
Mhm.
I felt a bit surprising because he hasn't. I mean, he's been like around the top, and he's one of the most experienced drivers in the field at the moment. But it was nice to see him back up there. And then we had Roman Stanek in P3, so Invicta getting on top of everything again.
Yes. So obviously, even though it was a very strange qualifying, it still had a good end result, I would say. So definitely set things up to be a very interesting two
Yeah.
races to
I
come.
have to mention something because
Yes.
a couple of episodes ago, I don't remember which one it was. I was talking about Ollie Goethe, and I
Oh
was
yeah.
saying he's performed really badly, like, he's had a really bad season. And
Yeah.
ever since then, he's been really good and qualifying really
Yes.
well and qualified P4, and I felt like he was doing that to spite me.
Literally, honestly, we haven't talked about this before, but actually, maybe you just have to call out more drivers who
Yeah,
perform badly. They'll start being one of the best drivers.
exactly. Like, somehow I didn't I did the opposite, curse him. So
Yeah,
maybe I need to do it more.
yeah. Honestly, maybe that's what is needed. Yeah, I guess we can go into the sprint race. Also, obviously, because of Richard's best time being deleted, we did get a slight change from the qualifying order. So it should have been like if Richard like hadn't had his time deleted, which he wouldn't have, like for example, if it had happened last year where the rule didn't exist, it would have been Sami Megatuniv who would have been on sprint pole. But instead, obviously, he got bumped up to 9, and Dino Beganovic was the lucky winner, inheriting the 10th place and then
Yes.
sprint pole. So high-tech driver on pole for both races.
Exactly. Heitig was
Yeah,
absolutely winning at that. And Dino
yeah.
did have a good start when he started
Mm,
from pole. Um, Sammy did struggle off the line.
yeah.
Um, then, once you kind of get to turn one, there's a lot of stuff that happens. And unfortunately, Alex pushed Kushmini. It was a racing incident, but there's a bit of a theme kind of happens. Alex is driving a little bit crazy.
Yes, it was definitely another of those races where we're just like, what is actually going through Alex's head right now? Because he was involved in a couple of sketchy moments, let's say.
Yeah. They were like on the line of like, is this his fault? Is this not? Like probably shouldn't have done that, but also racing incident. Um, but I just Alex has so much talent, and I've said this before. I just wish he would dr- I don't maybe I just don't like his driving style. Maybe that's a personal
No,
issue.
yeah,
But
honestly,
I
it's the same
really
for me.
yeah, it's just a bit aggressive for me.
Yeah.
Um, but he's very talented. I'll definitely say that.
Yes, and also for a driver who has been like he has been leading championship at one point in the season, and he's still not completely out of the championship, but he is dropping kind of far back from Fornaroli at this point, considering there are only 3 race weekends left. But like considering all that, the fact that he's still so close to a race ban is actually insane. Because like imagine if he got that race ban for one of the final races. Like that could very well still happen if he continues to drive like this.
I'm sorry, who are they putting in that car if that happens?
Honestly, we actually need to know. Like, could that be why Christian Mansell is preparing himself to like be? I'm ready, guys. Roland, if something happens to Alex, I contribute.
Yeah, I volunteer.
Yeah.
I
Honestly,
would
that could be interesting.
I'd love to see Christian in the car back in Rodin where he was meant to be this year. Would not
Yeah.
love to see Alex have a
No,
race ban,
of
but
course
he's
not.
so close. He's literally 2 points away. Like with the way that he's driving, I don't see how during the last races he's not going to get a ban.
No, it literally takes one either stupid mistake or just like a team mistake for something he could get penalty points easily.
Exactly.
So we'll definitely keep an eye out for that because obviously we had like besides that it was a fairly clean start, but then we had of course Dunn leaving no space for Kushmaini in another corner and yeah, ended in Kushmaini being stuck in the gravel and a safety car came out.
Yeah. A little bit of a common theme. We get a lot of safe. Like I don't think I've ever
Yeah.
watched a F2 F3 race without a safety car. Like that would be crazy.
It honestly happens so rarely, I can't even remember when the last time was.
Yeah. So if you're ever bored in Formula One and you're like, oh my gosh, nothing ever happens, come watch Formula 2, Formula 3. We have chaos down
Yes.
here.
Honestly, also the safety car driver, Bert Mylander, he really he had a good time, I'm sure, because like I feel like he was leading more of the race
Yeah.
than GF2 drivers.
He should have been on the podium.
Yes, and this is not the first time we've said that either.
No.
So he was living his best life.
Yeah, there was a battle going on in the front of the field once they got going again. And on lap 8, Leo Fornaroli took the lead, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is
Yeah.
crazy. You know, redemption drive.
Yeah.
But we did get another incident with Alex and Sami Megatunov, and they had
Yeah.
contact. They both went off into the gravel, luckily kept going, but Sami pitted and was out of the race with damage. And then
Yeah.
Alex was driving with damage, which just completely ruined his race.
Yes. Also, like, the big highlight from that incident, it's not even the crash, because obviously that was very bad. The big highlight from that was it Roman Stanek over the radio saying that it was karma because Alex had like driven him off the same way he drove off Sammy. So yeah, karma is a bitch. It's basically what Stanek said about Alex being run into by Sammy.
Exactly. We're not the only people who think that Alex drives a little bit crazy. Certain other drivers agree with us. But you know what? You know who I have to mention here? I think he owns this title, the most unlucky Formula 2 driver, Victor Martins. He had to
Yeah.
pit because he had front wing damage, which just
Mm.
in the sprint, there's no point in pitting. You lose so much time.
No.
So he falls on the wrong side of our luckometer. He's on the unlucky side yet again.
Yeah. He's always like, if you have the logo meter and just put in all 22 drivers, it would most often be Victor, who is very much over the unlucky side. If people don't think he's unlucky, like, just he is, okay? So, like, can more bad stuff happen to this man? I
Let's
don't
not
think
curse
so.
him.
No, well, now we have, but maybe we reverse curse him and all the bad luck will disappear. Who knows?
Watch out. We're getting a Victor win
Yes.
in Baku. Seen it here.
Yeah.
You've seen the script.
Yes, now it will happen. But obviously, wrapping up what happened with Alex and Sammy, it was Sammy Megatunov that got the penalty for the incident, which then obviously, because he was out of the race, resulted in a grid drop for the feature race. So very unfortunate for him. But yeah, that's just stuff that happens into turn 1 sometimes.
Yeah. It is unfortunate because you don't really want a grid drop for your next race.
No.
But obviously he was out of the race, so he couldn't serve the penalty. I think when we get to the feature, we'll talk about it. But I think somebody else actually like goes out the race and then they'll end up coming back out to serve their penalty, because I saw them out and I was like, whoa. So if you are able to get driving again, but obviously Sammy was not able to, so he had to take the grid drop.
Yeah. Very unfortunate for him. I'm sure he would have preferred just a time penalty, but unfortunately that would obviously not make any sense when he wasn't able to actually finish the race. And also after that, actually, like, I wasn't able to watch the race live, so I watched it later in the evening. And I thought nothing else happened in the race. That turns out it was because I fell asleep, actually. Like, I must have fallen asleep at some point, because like that moment when you close your eyes and you just like, it's just for like 2 seconds, and like then you open your eyes and you think, oh, I didn't sleep. And I like saw the checkered flag and everything. Oh, okay, good. Could see the order was slightly changed, so I knew something was up. So I guess you can take over with what happened with, I know something happened with Oliver Goethe. Now we have talked him up. Unfortunately, his good graces didn't continue.
Yes, so he had great qualifying, and he was overtaking Dino Bogdanovic, but then he landed up going off the road onto the grass and got stuck in the grass, which was not great for him. He did land up then get going again and pitted, and he was really lucky because he got into the pits just before a virtual safety car was called. So he was the only person who, obviously you can't pit under a virtual safety car, but he was the only person who could get into the pits. But I mean, it was still kind of end of the race for him. The virtual safety car was called because Max Esterson was suddenly stopped on the side of the track. Like, his car had like billows of smoke coming out the back of him, but it was really strategically planned because he was literally at the escape road for where the Formula 2 cars usually go. So he pretty much
Yeah.
drove into there, which is why it was just a virtual safety car because he got off track quite quickly, instead of a full safety car.
Yeah. And then, I guess, nothing else big happened-ish?
Dino got a virtual
Oh,
safety car
yeah.
infringement,
That's
and got a
right.
5-second penalty, and a penalty point added to his license, which was not
Yeah.
great for Dino. And then after the race, Alex Dunn got his 10-second time penalty
Yes.
for the incident with Kush,
Yeah.
which dropped him down to 13th because he actually had quite a good race after that. A revenge drive a little bit, but it didn't
Yeah.
work. But the final
No.
podium classification, we got Leo Fornaroli, which was amazing. Home race, they get to hear the
Yes.
national anthem. Arvid Lindblad in P2, which was good for him because he doesn't have the greatest race in race.
No, it was important for him to get those points. Let's just put it that way, and then we'll get to what happens in the feature race.
Exactly. And then we had Joshua Dirksen, P3, starting his amazing weekend off really well.
Yes. I also like some points to talk about from the final classification of the race. First off, Leonardo Fornaroli, obviously championship leader, winning his 4th race this season, which is like incredible to see because going into the season and for like the most part of the first half of the season, we were like, can this man ever win a race? Because for those who don't know or didn't watch F3 last year, he literally won the championship in his rookie season without a single win. And I also like kept escaping him in F2 in the beginning of the year, like being so close to getting that win, and it just didn't happen. And now somehow he has won 4 times this season.
I think he got the taste for winning in Silverstone and was like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna repeat this a lot. And I'm sure it meant a lot to him for a home race run.
Maybe it's actually because we were there in Silverstone. Like we
We uncursed him.
removed the curse. Yes, teams, take note. If
Invite
you
us.
want the curse removed, invite us. Honestly. But yeah, talking about that is obviously a good performance for Fornaroli. Another thing I wanted to note is the fact that Dino Beganovic, obviously starting from pole position, could have gotten a podium, but then obviously didn't because of the virtual safety car infringement. He is definitely not having the rookie season he was hoping for, especially not seeing his teammate Luke Browning, also in his rookie season, being close to actually catching the leader of the championship and like could still win it himself. So I definitely expected more by Dino, but it hasn't like gone his way for some reason for most races.
No, he's been really unlucky and just had some bad races.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not the season that I expected from him.
No.
But hopefully he finishes the season on a little bit more of a high and then can come back stronger in his second season.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye out for because it will be interesting to see who of the drivers can end off strong, especially obviously with the rookie drivers. A lot of them will hopefully return for a second season next year. So definitely something to keep an eye out for. But I guess we could move into the feature race because what even was this race, honestly?
We start off insane because, okay, there are 2 different tires that you can choose. You can choose the super soft or the soft tire. And everybody was on the super soft tires. Everyone, which you never
Yes.
see. You always see
No.
it's usually the lower half of the field, like from like down P10. They choose the different tire to the rest, but everyone was starting on the super soft tire, which is like literally never been seen before.
No, and it was like very surprising because as you say, like for those who don't watch feeder series like F2, F3, always in F2 you would see people going for like the alternative strategy.
Yeah.
And like not seeing that, I really don't know what they saw in the data that they were like, there's no point in starting on the soft. But maybe it was just actually thinking about it. Like if I was the strategist for one of these teams, I was like, there's gonna be a safety car around the pit window. Like, we might as well start on the softest of the two tires, like start on the option tire, which was super soft this weekend. And like, because if you had started on the soft tire and was planning on going longer into the race, you would just have been screwed over possibly, because we did get a couple of safety cars, so
Yeah,
did pan
exactly.
out well. Yeah.
So it makes sense why they were all on the same tire, but it's just honestly never like that. But diving straight into the race,
Yep.
we had a bit of a bad start from Kush in P2.
He can catch a break.
No, he can't. And then
No.
on the second lap, he got pushed into the gravel by Arvid Lindblad.
Yeah.
And he dropped all the way down. He still kept going, but it the start of Arvid's not so great race.
Yeah, the start of the end, pretty much. I feel like, but the end was prolonged longer than it should have been, which I'm sure we'll get to, because obviously we had just cut to Alex crashing into the wall, and we are like, what on earth happened here?
Because he went at speed, like it was not
Yes,
like he hadn't hit
no,
anything first. He just went straight on and crashed into
yeah,
the wall, and it was like,
mm,
what? I'm sorry?
yeah.
Context?
Exactly, and it took ages for the replay to be shown as well. Like, I was like, "Hello, can we get some information here?"
Exactly.
But yeah, obviously seeing the replay, there's no questioning what happened, because we had Arvid behind him. Obviously, Alex was racing someone. I don't remember what the other car was on the inside of him.
I don't
Um,
either.
no, it's not that important because he's not involved in the incident. But we had then Arvid being behind Alex, and I don't know if he like thought he could brake later than his car was actually capable of, because obviously if you have a car right in front of you, you won't have the same like ability to brake, because obviously dirty air and like also stopping the natural airflow on your own front wing. So just massively locked up both of his front tires and ran straight into the back of Alex Dunn.
Was Pepe around there? I feel like there was another Red Bull car.
Could be.
I don't
Honestly,
know.
not sure.
Um,
Yeah.
which brought out a safety car, obviously, because his car was not going anywhere. In
No.
pieces a little bit. Which was really bad because it was good for the field,
Mm.
because not many of them had pitted. So it was a great
No.
time for them with a full safety car to be able to pit, but Ollie Goethe had pitted just before.
Yeah.
So he
Exactly.
lost. Like, he just didn't get the advantage that everybody else got by pitting under the safety
No.
car, which was really unfortunate for him. Like, had such
Yeah.
good qualifying, but then maybe we
No.
cursed him.
Yeah. Also, honestly, obviously he had a great start. He took the lead in the opening laps. So, like, I'm really questioning, like, what was MP doing pitting the lead driver on the first opportunity they got? Because obviously you're not allowed to pit until lap 6, and it was literally like on lap 6 they chose to pit him out of the lead. So, like, obviously you can always say it's just like, we know what happened, then we can say that easily, but still, you just wish if he had just stayed out for a little while longer, because definitely, obviously, with the safety car being called out and it being like a couple of laps after lap 6, everyone obviously started on the super soft, everyone pitted and like took advantage of it. And he did still come out inside the top 10, so it could have been worse. It had
Yeah.
been seen before you could like drop way back. But yeah, obviously, now as we mentioned, everyone pitted. Obviously, Arvid Lindblad pitted as well, changed his tires, and the team is like, front wing damage? We won't waste time on that. Just go Arvid, it's fine. Like, not changing the broken front wing. Like, what are we actually doing? Like, what are we doing now? What are we doing, Campus? Why are we
From
not changing the front wing?
Yeah, like I can understand from Ovid's perspective, he really could not
Yeah,
tell what the front wing was
no,
looking
of
like.
course
But the
not.
team probably should have said, this is a moment. Like, I know everybody is pitting, but
Yeah,
um let's pit and change that front wing because something is going to happen from it. So Arvid did get a 10-second time penalty from the incident before
Yeah.
with Alex, because obviously it was his fault.
Yeah.
And then we go to our restart, where, Luke is having some great restarts here.
Yeah.
He's on the ball. But for this one, Luke kind of he went a little bit later. So Kian Shields, towards the back of the field,
Yeah.
thought, oh, we're already going, when we
Yeah.
weren't. And he went off the road because he was like going to crash into someone in front of him and took out some bollards.
Yeah.
Which
So we appreciated from Kian that he decided to like not just go straight into the car in front of him, but thought, you know what, I'll just take myself out here instead of ruining other people's race. So thank you, Kian, for that.
exactly. But then when we get going,
Yeah, it doesn't
um,
end there, the craziness.
it's like turn one after the main straight, and Arvid starts to
Yeah.
brake. But Arvid has no downforce from his very, very,
No.
very, very, very broken front wing.
Yeah, he literally
And
has no front grip with that front wing. Like, he has none.
exactly. And
And going into full speed into turn one.
he completely wipes out the unsuspecting driver who is turning, not expecting
Yeah,
a car to be coming so fast on the inside, and that poor person was Roman Stanek. Honestly, it could have been anyone. Like, I
it
was
could have
scared
been.
it was going to
It
be
could have been
Luke,
Luke.
like taking out the
Yes.
leader right there, but it was Roman Stanek.
Yeah, which is obviously still sad for Roman Stanek, but also like we have talked about karma and the universe, and it takes some gifts sometimes. And the Monza gods were like, you know what? You made Fred crash back in 2023, so now we'll take care of the balance in
Yeah,
the universe, and you have to be taken out, Stanek. I'm sorry, but it had to happen
exactly.
at some time in Monza.
In that same chaotic moment, our favorite unlucky driver, Victor Martin,
Yes.
lands up spinning as well in the chaos in the
Yeah.
back. And just obviously another safety car got brought out for everything that had happened. But again,
Yes.
Victor and his luck, oh my gosh.
It's literally disaster. Also because it was Mini going into the back of him, but it wasn't even like a penalty to Mini because it was just from all the madness going on. Like it was just a unfortunate incident, and it was Victor paying the price for it yet again.
Yeah, very unfortunate. And you think that's where the chaos ends. Wrong.
No.
Sammy Megatunov, after they get going again, lands up spinning at turn one on the
Yeah.
restart and brought out
Yeah.
yet another safety car.
Yes. And at that point you just think, are we gonna get any racing laps this race? Or is it all just gonna be crushing people out and safety cars?
But we did land up getting going again. Ollie did not have a great rest of his race because he lands up going off at turn one and then had to pit again. And pitting twice is not good in Formula 2.
No.
No one pits twice. There is no point of pitting twice. And he landed up coming last out of that. But I think that's kind of the chaos wrapped up of that race. We can go
Yes.
to the final classifications of the
Yes.
race, which we got the first F2 win for Luke Browning. Really, really good
Yes.
for his championship.
Yes.
It rocketed him up to P2 in the standings. And just incredible for this rookie finally getting his first win.
Yes, definitely. Because obviously we're kind of running out of races at this point. Like we only have 6 races left, so 3 race weekends in total. So it was great seeing him getting that first win. I also like it being in such a controlled way because
Oh
obviously
my
starting
gosh.
pole,
Yep.
managing all the safety car restarts, luckily not getting taken out by Arvid Lindblad, even though it was close. Like seeing the replay again, imagining it could have been Arvid like, taking Luke out, but he didn't. He got
Yeah.
his win. And also, like, as you mentioned with the sprint race, Dirksen is having a great weekend. So, like, seeing him getting a double podium was very important for him as well here in his second season. Then, obviously, you're ecstatic about P3 as well. So, I'll let you take over with that.
Thank you very much. We got Pepe Marti P3. Like, that was close though. He was fighting with Rafael
Yes.
Villagomez. So I was not sure if we were gonna get it. But
Right.
we got Pepe P3 on the podium, which was amazing because he's had a very yet again unlucky F2 season. Not as bad as last year.
Mm,
Thank
no.
goodness. But it was really nice to see him on the podium with Luke. And just some things to note, which Luke said in like some interviews after the race. You know, the commentators mention that when you're at Monza, if you're on pole, like pretty much no one wins from pole.
No.
Luke
Yeah.
won from pole, and he has a statistic
Yes.
that he's never lost a race that he started on pole. Obviously, this is his first Formula 2 pole, but like throughout
Yeah.
his career, so he's just so dominant and in control of that race, and it was really nice to see his momentum building towards the end of the season.
Yes, because obviously, as just mentioned, we only have those 3 race weekends left. And if we take a closer look at the standings right now, um, it is still Leonardo Fornaroli leading the championship, which could be insane if we get another year where we have the rookie F3 champion moving up to F2 and then immediately winning F2, which we had last year as well, with the F2 champion being Gabriele Bozzoletto. But yeah, he's on 174 points, but right behind him is Luke Browning with 153. So it's not that big of a gap. If we know F2, if you just have
Yeah.
like one off weekend, things can change completely.
Like we seen with Alex Dunn. But I want to go
Yeah.
back to Fornaroli and just note that it's
Mm.
kind of crazy that he's not backed by any
No.
Formula One team. Like he's
Yeah.
just there by himself. He's not backed by a team, which is interesting because he won Formula 3 and you would have expected
Yeah.
of that. But maybe he doesn't want to be part of a junior academy, although I can't see that because he's literally fighting for the championship now. Surely you'd want to be
Yes.
joined with a team so then you could go to reserve driver?
Exactly, because like if he ends up winning the championship, which
Where's he
obviously
gonna
it's too
go?
early to tell. Yeah, because like he can't stay in F2. And also like
No.
even if he doesn't win and like comes in second or something, it would kind of seem silly to stick around for another season to like try and win the championship again. Obviously you never know. But maybe he's just that kind of driver that will literally wait till the last moment possible to decide on what F1 team he wants to go with, because obviously with this year in F1 we have had a lot of rookies getting seats
Yeah.
and also like not that many drivers right now are on their way out, so it's very limited being able to predict where on earth can I get an F1 seat. Obviously he won't be able to get an F1 seat for next year because that seems like it will literally only be in the Red Bull family. They will bring in a new driver and that won't be him. I would be very surprised
Whoa,
if it ended
imagine.
up being him. Imagine, because everyone is saying it's going to be Arvid Lindblad. That could create some real drama if it ended up being Fornaroli. But yeah, I don't see that happening. So it would obviously be then later into 2027 you would have to look into. And then like, so obviously waiting and see what maybe would make sense. But then again, still, he would have to make a decision by the end of this season if he like wants to continue the dream of getting into
I
F1, which I'm sure he will.
I could see him going towards Alpine. They
Mm,
tend to have a lot of reserve drivers and swap them
true.
out. So, like, that's kind of probably your best bet. And I think Gabriel Bortoleto is also really showing what, like, the form that Leo's been on, he was on as well. And, like, look how he is performing
Yeah.
in Stake, which is not necessarily the most competitive F1 team. So I think
No.
he is a good example of what Leo could be doing if he wins the championship and gets somewhere into F1. So I really hope that he does. I mean, I'm still backing Luke though. Like that is where my hopes are. I don't know where he's going
Yes.
though, like reserve Williams. And then
Yeah.
maybe like if Carlos moves on, imagine I would die for a Luke and Alex Albon like partnership.
Yes, that would actually be insane. But yeah, it's just sad thinking about the fact that obviously Luke could also win the championship. And then again, there would still be no available seat in F1. So it will definitely end up being reserved. And then obviously he is part of the Williams Academy, as you
Yeah.
mentioned. So that would be where he would go. But then again, also like at the moment, Williams has kind of they're kind of scared of going with a rookie after
Yeah.
the seasons they had with Logan Sargent, and they would really put their fate into him. So it will be interesting if they are ready to choose another rookie or if they have become more conservative with choosing more experienced drivers. But we'll
Yeah.
have to wait and see with that, obviously.
I've just kind of realized, because obviously, for those of you who don't know, we are hoping to go to Silverstone again next year because we actually had the best time.
Actually, we are. Like,
Yeah.
like obviously we haven't mentioned this, but we have literally already booked our accommodation. So either
We're going.
we're literally just staying in a tent outside of Silverstone and not going in, which I think will be highly unlikely.
But
Yeah,
now, like, I'm getting really sad because, like, some of my drivers are on, like, later seasons and they're not
true.
going to be coming back to F2. And then if Luke
Yeah,
wins, like, he's not going to be in the support paddock. And I'm like, I want to see them again, you know? It's really sad, but
yes,
also they're doing so well. So they have to move on. But privileged that we are getting to
yeah.
watch all of these incredible drivers um, really reach the top, the pinnacle of motorsports, which is my favorite thing. That's why I watch F2, F3, as I just love seeing the
Mm.
development of all of these young talents.
Yeah, I completely agree. And like, sadly, it's not everyone who can make it to F1, even though we
No.
would love to see that. But obviously, there are very limited seats. And also, like, another driver we haven't mentioned right now, but still, Richard Verschoor in his 5th season is still knocking on the door of that championship. Like, he's not out of it yet. Like, he is like, what, 30 points behind Fornaroli? So again, it's a bigger gap, but definitely not unmanageable if he
Yeah,
gets a great run in these final 3 races, and maybe Fornaroli doesn't score as many points. But he is definitely one of those drivers who is definitely like, I'm sorry, but he's not going to make it into F1 because he doesn't even have F1 backing at the moment. He's not part of any F1 academy, and I don't think it's from a lack of like trying or him not wanting to become a part of an F1 team's academy. So it'll be interesting to
exactly.
see where he'll end up.
Yeah, and F1 is not, like, obviously it's what all of these drivers dream of going towards, but it's not necessarily, if you don't get
No.
into F1, that's the end of your career. There are so many other series out there, like the World Endurance Championship or European Le Mans, which is actually why we're
Yeah.
pre-recording this. I'm off
Yeah.
to ELMS this coming weekend at Silverstone, so we had to pre-record this a little bit. When you see this, it'll have already
Yeah.
happened. I'm sure you'll see. I'm sure I'll post something on our Instagram. So again, make sure to follow that. But yeah, it's, if you don't get into Formula One, there is so much else out there. Like we're seeing Dennis Hauger doing pretty well in Indy Next. So
Pretty well, meaning literally winning everything and the championship as well. Like breaking every record possibly, pretty much. But yeah, I get what you mean. Also, like, we are also seeing a couple of F2 graduates moving over to Formula E, which is also like a very big world championship as well. We could also potentially see some new drivers from F2 go there next year. We don't know. Obviously, silly season in Formula E is in full swing as well. So definitely, that's also like why this podcast is Road to Glory. Like, it's not Road to F1
yeah,
because F1 is not necessarily like the end goal for everyone, and also not the criteria for success in your career. You can be successful racing drivers in so many other series as well.
exactly. I definitely think we will be expanding more
Yes.
in the upcoming months, years, whatever, to include
Yeah.
other stuff as much as we can handle, honestly, because there's only so much
Yeah.
that the two of us
We
can
are
watch.
only 2 people.
Yeah.
And this is just like a side thing. We also have like university and jobs and stuff like that. So we're doing our best. And also, as you mentioned, this episode is pre-recorded. So if there has been some crazy news about new F3 drivers moving up to F2 for this upcoming Baku race, because obviously when this episode is out, it is race weekend again, and they're racing
Yes.
Baku. If we don't mention that some drivers has been moved up to F2, it's because we don't know yet as of
Yes.
recording. Yeah.
Exactly. I definitely think we are going to get some announcements. We always
Mm.
see some different drivers in Baku. Um, but I think we have kind of wrapped up Monza.
Yes, we have. And it was honestly, Monza always delivers. Like, you will never get a boring race in Monza.
I had such a good weekend. I was on such a high from the Formula 2 feature race because it was like that podium was made for
Yes.
me and my
It was
drivers.
made for you. Yeah.
If
And also,
yeah,
like, it has been a while since we've seen a podium. Everyone that are on the podium are actually so happy for their position. Like, you could always get someone being kind of annoyed it didn't get the win, but it generally seemed like everyone on the podium was just so happy to be there.
yeah, exactly. It was such a good weekend. But
Mm.
I'm very excited for Baku. Like that's chaos, especially if we have new drivers
Yeah.
that are in with the street circuit. Because obviously Formula 2 do not
Especially the
race.
sprint. Like, the sprint is always chaos. Like, they need to, like, let go of everything in the sprint all every year. And then, like, in the feature, they're more controlled.
Exactly. But obviously it's a track that if there's anyone moving up, they've never been to before
Mm,
because Baku,
no.
Formula 3 do not race at. So yeah, it's definitely going to be an insane weekend and one to watch. So make sure to tune in this weekend to watch Formula 2 because yes, Formula 3 is over, but we've still got Formula 2.
Yes. And when the weekend is over, make sure to go back here and watch our race review, because I'm sure we'll have plenty of chaos to talk about.
Absolutely.
But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. And if you haven't already subscribed or are not already following us, please make sure to do so. It makes a big difference. And also, you do not want to miss out on our upcoming content because we have some exciting stuff planned. So stay tuned for that.
Exactly. Make sure to always tune in, have the notifications on so you don't miss when we upload. But thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.